Hello guys, and welcome back to me, Yanu, for some more videos. Now, I haven't done one for a while. You can check me, Grandpa and Little out on Yanoween 1 and Yanoween 2. They're short comedy movies, and also we do other little comedy sketches and things and gaming videos. But anyway, today is completely different, and I want to make this as simple and straightforward as possible. Now, wouldn't it be great if you could just have a problem, go to a doctor, and they just give you a straight answer. They say, this is the problem, this is exactly right. You don't have to look at the internet, you don't have to look at YouTube. That is exactly your problem. You do exactly what they say, and bam, you're fixed. That's all you want. You don't want complications, right? Now, with diets, you might be thinking the exact same thing. Years ago, when internet wasn't available, it wasn't like it is now. Now there's so much information out there, YouTube videos, websites, that when you start off and say, right, I'm going to start this journey, I'm going to, rear myself up, read all about it. By the time you've watched 2,000 videos on YouTube, or you've read 2,000 articles, you could know more than a doctor. But you know what? You'll probably still be so confused at the end, more confused than you were at the beginning, because there's conflicts. Everybody conflicts. You've got one person like keto saying eat loads of fat. You've got another person saying I don't care what I eat, I just eat sugar. You've got another people who eat balanced. And you just, there's so many things, carnivore and all this, there's so many things you can go down different routes and say, is this right, is it wrong? And you're just confused. You think, well, I don't want to harm my body, I don't want to go down that route, I don't want to have that particular thing, because what if it does me damage? Well, I'm going to be here now to tell you, I'm not a doctor, obviously. I know you're probably looking at me going, ah, he looks like my doctor, but no, I'm not a doctor, right? But anyway, the point is that I'm here to make it super, super simple for you, right? Now, instead of going on YouTube, instead of going on articles and reading, because I've done it, I've looked at loads of things, right? But the reality is, it's all about balance, in my opinion, right? It's all about balance. If you're worried that if you go on, say, a keto diet where you don't have carbs and you have loads of fat, and you're like, oh my God, will it do me damage to my body? Will it hurt my body? What if I do unrepairable damage? I don't want to do that. Or I go on the carnivore, or I eat loads of sugar. The point is, what I want you to do is, I want you to do one thing. I want you to walk to a mirror, right? Don't read articles, don't look at other things. I want you to go to the mirror, and I want you to be honest with yourself. Look in the mirror and ask yourself some questions. Are you overweight? Are you underweight? Do you get headaches? Do you have pains, joint pains, arms, legs, arse, whatever it is, right? Do you get loads of issues? Okay, so, and ask yourself them questions. Ask yourself, do you eat too much sugar? Do you eat too much? Do you snack all day? Do you keep constantly eating the same food? What is it? Now, ask yourself them questions. If the answers are, yes, I get loads of headaches. Yes, I get pains. Yes, I'm overweight. Yes, I'm underweight. Yes, I've got problems. Yes, I'm always eating this. Then the simple thing to do is, whatever you're doing, you're clearly in a loop, right? You're in almost like a ritual of eating. Now, let's just say, as an example, all your life, all you've known is snacking, sugar. You don't eat meals. You don't really eat proper fresh meals. You just go out and you buy McDonald's, you buy KFC, you buy Burger King, all these trans fats, the bad fats, right? You eat, they also have bad sugars in, full of sugar and everything, right? So if you're doing that on a regular basis, and you've been doing that pretty much your whole life, and you say to yourself, yes, I'm overweight, yes, I've got loads of fat, yes, I've got headaches, yes, I'm aching, yes, I can't stop eating it, yes, if I do stop eating it, I get the shakes because I don't eat sugar. If you get all these problems, you need to just do the opposite. Change it up, right? the thing is, someone on a keto diet might be brilliant for them. They might say it's fantastic, and then you'll get someone else say, oh, it didn't work for me, it was rubbish, blah, blah, blah. Now, chances are they might have done it right and it just didn't suit them. Chances are they did it wrong and they lied and that's why it didn't work for them. Who knows? But then on the other end, you might do something keto that actually works for you, but part of it keto, but then another food you like from another diet or whatever it is, and it works for you too, but it's balanced, you know? So at the end of the day, you've got to experiment. At the end of the day, right, like I said a minute ago, if you were to have the wrong food, okay, if you was to be eating the same food over and over and over and over and over, and you feel like complete crab, okay, and you just feel terrible, right, you absolutely feel terrible, then clearly what you're doing is wrong. It's simple, it's wrong, it's not working for you. So by you changing to something else and experimenting, do you think it's really going to do you harm? You know, oh, I don't want to do that because it might be bad for me. Well, what have you been doing for the past 10, 20, 30, 40, whatever years? Has that really been good for you? Do you feel good? No? Well, you've been doing that for all of them years, but you're worried about experimenting for something for a few months. You know, you just want to experiment and see what works for you. As an example for me, right, last year I had a problem with my eye, right? My eye, I kept getting a bloodshot eye. I never had it in my life, didn't know why, haven't got a clue, right? But I read up on it, and one guy, Dr. Eric Berg, said, have Bruges and cut out the bread. Okay, so I did. I thought, well, I'm always eating bread. I always ate bread for years. I could have ignored him and gone, well, no, I don't really care. You know, I'm just going to carry on. But I listened, right? And guess what? It didn't only clear my eye out, but I had an allergy for 20 years, which I thought was maybe dust or pollen, right? But when I stopped eating the bread, guess what? My allergy just stopped. It got better. So I thought, well, hang on a minute, I'm trying to sort one problem out and I've actually fixed another. So that's why I'm saying it's always best to experiment and see what works for you. If it don't work for you, do something different. Don't give up and go back to what you did, because if, for example, for 30 years you've been eating really bad food, right, and you feel really terrible, you've got headaches, you've got all these problems, and you say, I'm going to try this way, you know, for 2 months or something, and you don't do it right, or some of it's a bit wrong. But what's the point going, well, it didn't work, I'm going back to the way I did it for 30 years. Well, that didn't work either. So you've got to change your mind, you know, you've got to change your thought process of, this ain't working, this clearly is not working for me, I need to change it. And if it don't work, I'll go to something else. And if that don't work, I'll go to someone else. And do you know what? If they all don't work, maybe some bits of each one do. Certain foods agree. Like, for instance, some people can tolerate milk. Some people can't. Some people can eat nuts. Some people can't. I love cheese, and some people get headaches through cheese. But that don't mean to say you've got to give up on everything and then just go back to your old ways, because it didn't work. So all you've got to do is just change your mind, change your thought, just experiment and think to yourself, do you know what? Whatever route I take, it's got to be a better route than I've been on already. Okay, that's all you got to do. Look in the mirror. Don't get confused with all of the things you've read. Yes, you can read them. Yes, you can get ideas on what things mean, the vitamins and minerals and what's good for you and what's bad for you. Yeah, you can do that. But all I'm saying is, when you go on a diet, okay, I don't like diets, because when I hear the word diet, I feel like people are just going on a temporary holiday. You know, it's like, oh, I want to lose some weight, so I'm going to go on a diet for 2 weeks. I mean, that's almost like me saying, I've put on, you know, 5 pounds and I'm going to starve myself for a couple of weeks to lose it. But that doesn't really help it. That's just starving myself so that I go back to eating and I gain it again. Wouldn't it be better, instead of wasting 2 weeks of starving yourself, looking at your plate and having little bits of cabbage or something and just feeling hungry. I eat 2 meals. Me personally, I'm 10 stone, right? And all I do is eat 2 meals a day. That's it. 2 meals, no snacks. Now, no cheating, because people out there class a meal as your dinner. They say, I only eat 1 meal a day, so I don't know why I'm overweight. Well, the truth is, you shouldn't say meal. You should say, how many times do you eat a day? So don't try to hide the snacks and the muffins and the donuts and the cakes and everything and say, well, that's not a meal. That was just a snack. So I only have 1 meal a day. No, that's cheating. It's, you've got to ask yourself, not how many meals do you eat, how many times do you eat? Okay, so if it's a donut, that's another time you've ate. If it's a bag of crisps, it's another time you ate. If it's some biscuits, it's another time you ate. You know, so instead of saying, I've had 1 meal today, my dinner, but I've had breakfast, Mars bars, chocolate bars, cans of Coke, lemonade, cherryade, whatever you want, right? Oh no, but that's all right. I don't include all that. I just say about my meal. You know, that's cheating, right? You've got to add everything, and I'd write it down. Write down every time you eat. It doesn't matter what you eat, just write it down. It doesn't matter if it's a bag of crisps, as I say, or chocolates, cakes, cookies, muffins, donuts, you name it, right? You write it down, because at the end of the day, if you're eating regularly all the time, I don't do that. I've cut out a lot of sugars. I pretty much don't eat sugar all the time. I have 2 meals, which is, well, I used to eat later. I used to eat afternoon and more sort of later afternoon to evening, but I found I was going too late to the evening, and then my energy levels, where they're going up because you're eating late, but then you're going to sleep. So I found that eating in the morning was a better option for me. You know, eat when you get up to give yourself energy through the day, then have another meal for your dinner, and then all night you're like fasting, intermittent fasting. So you don't eat all night, you let it all digest, and the next day, next thing you know, I'm still the same weight. I'm still 10 stone. I don't gain. I sort of hover sort of 10 stone, just above, just under, just above. I'm just hovering because I eat the same things. Well, not the same things, but you know, the same 2 meals and no snacks. Okay. And if I did happen to have a snack, I would have to class that as my second meal, which obviously is not a good thing, because what's the point having a chocolate bar? That's not a good filling meal. So I need a big filling meal. I have big meals. Some people think, how the hell do you eat huge meals and stay so, you know, so slim? Because I don't snack. That's why, because I just have that, and I also just have water. So anyway, guys, instead of dieting, instead of starving yourself, and have a good filling meal, have a couple if you can, and just have a break. If you do find yourself shaking and you're not feeling right, it's because your body is trying to adapt, and it's saying, you got into a habit of it, right? So all I'm saying is don't go confusing things. Just look in the mirror, ask yourself that question. Have you got problems? If you have, just change it. Doesn't matter what it is. Just change some habits, change the food, change your thought process, and get healthy. Anyway, guys, that's me, Yanu, for another video. And remember, if you're a happy gamer and you know it and you want to see me again, click the subscribe button and remember my name, Yanu. That's who. See you later, guys.